The Good Times cast then versus now. Good Times hit the scene in 1974 and it brought something fresh and real to the televisions across America. This iconic show revolved around the Evans family, living in a poor neighborhood in Chicago. The family tries to make the ends meet while supporting each other and respecting their parents, James and Florida Evans. Good Times wasn't just a random show, it was a portrayal of black values. It gave a sneak peek into the struggles and joys of a black family, something that was never seen much on mainstream TV at the time. The best part was, Good Times was one of the funniest shows, and despite its humorous nature, it tackled difficult subjects like racism, unemployment, and family issues with ease. For black families, Good Times was like a reflection of their own lives, and that's probably why I could connect it so deeply with the show. Even now, the cast of Good Times is considered the OG of sitcoms, and the credit of it goes to the cast. So let's get to know them and refresh our Good Times memories. Starting off, we need to break it down to the leading characters who actually made this show an absolute classic. First up, we have the head of the Evans family, James Evans. He's a hard-working, no-nonsense person who does everything he could to provide for his family. Although James is tough, he's also full of love and he keeps trying to put his kids on the right track. Evans is like the old-school father who disciplined his children and made sure that they stay out of trouble. But all this strict demeanor comes from a place of love and care for their well-being. Next up, we have Florida Evans, the heart and soul of the Evans family. Florida is the mother who holds the entire family together. She's strong, caring, nurturing, but also empowered. She's got an incredible mix of warmth and wisdom and never shies away from giving a reality check to her kids. Florida makes sure to look after her family, while also holding her morality upright and having a very strict faith in the Lord. Now comes the eldest son, JJ. He's a comic relief in the entire show. He's got big dreams and an even bigger heart. The best part about him is that he always finds a reason to make others smile. Next up, we have Thelma, who's the beauty with the brains of the Evans family. She's ambitious, smart, and the voice of reason among her chaotic siblings. Her character depicts the expectations young black women have to face and their struggles. Lastly, there's Michael, the youngest of them all, also known as the militant midget. Michael is an old soul and is extremely wise. He's the one who observes the social injustices happening around him. Michael is the one who often talks about racism and inequality. His passion for social justice makes him a standout character. Throughout the show, we see these characters going through different hardships but always figuring it out in the end. For instance, James struggling to find a stable job, Florida trying to keep her family intact, JJ navigating his artistic side, Thelma's ambition of higher education, and Michael's struggles of being a young activist. Together, these characters show us how close to reality they are, and that's what's special about Good Times, that it's relatable and believable. And this is all thanks to the primary cast of the show who's been off the grid for quite a while now. So let's see what they've all been up to all these years. First up, John Amos. John Amos brought the character of James Evans to life. He was commanding and powerful in the role, and he filled the room with his fatherly presence. Before Good Times started, John Amos had already made a name for himself as he also played Gordie Howard on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. But his claim to fame was the character of stern, yet loving father on Good Times that really solidified his place in TV history. Good Times got so famous that after the show ended, John Amos immediately got a part in the hit series Roots. He played the iconic part of Kunta Kinte in the show. He also played different parts in movies like Coming to America and shows like The West Wing. He also starred in Die Hard 2 and Doolittle. However, most recently, the 80-year-old actor has announced that he's planning on making a docuseries on his life that will reunite fathers and sons across America. He's currently working with his son KC on the project, and KC is a great filmmaker, so we'll hopefully get to witness the historic docuseries in 2 to 3 years. He's pretty pumped for it, and fans think that if it's even half as good as Good Times, they're definitely gonna binge watch it. Esther Rolle. Esther Rolle was basically the heart of Good Times as Florida Evans. She brought warmth, faith, and wisdom to her role, but even before she joined the show, she had plenty of work. In fact, Esther comes from a theater background where she appeared in a very popular show like Maude. But she got her big break with Good Times and it took her career to new heights. She got a movie offer for Summer of My German Soldier and she accepted it. Soon she got an Emmy Award for her role in this movie. Esther was basically unstoppable at the time. She also appeared in blockbuster movies like Rosewood and Driving Miss Daisy. After working on Good Times for 3 years, Esther Rolle left the show as Jimmy Walker took over as the lead show. She was soon persuaded to come back for a season because of how much the audiences wanted to see her on screen. But in 1998, Esther Rolle lost her life at the age of 78. She did accomplish what most people can only imagine, and she became one of the most sought after black artists. So if Good Times ever gets a spin-off, it will be all thanks to Esther Rolle, who made this show so iconic along with her other cast members. Jimmie Walker. Jimmie Walker's catchphrase, "Dynamite," still rings in the ears of his diehard fans. He became a household name with Good Times, but even before he joined the show, he was already making a name with his stand-up comedy routines. He even performed at shows like Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, which was a big deal for any black comedian. But things really took a turn for the best when he got an offer for Good Times. The show made him a breakout star, and he got tons of offers because of his comedic delivery and amazing acting skills. He decided to star in a show that later turned out to be short-lived called At Ease. He also starred in Bustin' Loose, but none of these shows got him as much appreciation as Good Times did. He decided to make guest appearances until he gets good projects, so he cameoed in projects like George Lopez and Everybody Hates Chris. But even when he wasn't starring in a lot of movies or doing many shows, Jimmie was still doing well for himself by his stand-up comedy. He kept doing shows and tours throughout the country, and that has still not stopped because he's still a very famous comedian. And in 2012, he also released his autobiography with the name Dynamite: Good Times, Bad Times, Our Time, a memoir. So it seems like he hasn't wasted his fame from Good Times and has somewhat maintained his success, which is actually amazing. Bernadette Stanis. Good Times was actually the breakout role for Bernadette. She became an apple of everyone's eye after the show, and her acting skills put everyone in awe. Soon, movie and show offers started pouring in, and Bernadette decided to go for it. She appeared on shows like The Cosby Show, The Wayans Brothers, and Girlfriends and What's Happening Now. She also made some cameos and was highly appreciated for her aura on screen. She soon got married and had 2 children. Insiders have also reported that she was getting roles that sexualized her, which is why she didn't do as much television or movies. Later on, she wrote a book named Situations 101: The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and for Men Only. Currently, Thoma Evans is a spokesperson for a very well-known skincare brand, Yonis, and she also has a website. Through this website, the fans could directly chat with Thoma and ask questions from her. Although her role in Good Times made everyone think that she's gonna be the next IT girl in Hollywood, she's still doing well for herself, and that's all that matters. Ralph Carter. Ralph Carter was the youngest sibling in Good Times, and his portrayal of Michael hooked everyone to their screens. But even before he became a big shot in Good Times, Ralph has made quite a name for himself on Broadway. He even got a Tony nomination for his role in Raisin. Ralph also released a single, Get It Right, and was a nightclub singer for a while just because he enjoyed singing. He soon started getting a lot of offers, so he appeared in Ain't Supposed to Die a Natural Death. But his breakthrough role was playing Michael Evans, and after that, he never really achieved that same hype. However, the Good Times fans loved him, and that's probably why he never misses the events and reunions of Good Times where he can meet his fans. Good Times might just be a show for the new audience now, but back in the 1970s, it was an evolution of representation for black Americans. They never saw relatable and real black families on TV before, and the Evans family gave them everything from comedy to drama to heartfelt moments like in real life. At the time, it was very rare to see stories of black people and their struggles being told on mainstream media, but in Good Times, one black family was the center of attention, and the show basically revolved around its joys, struggles, heartbreaks, and motivations. This opened the doors for more black representation on TV, and when Good Times became so successful, more directors and producers started making shows for black Americans, but the legacy of Good Times goes beyond this success. It actually showed that black families could be portrayed on screen with respect and dignity. The series issues this show tackled portrayed the reality of a lot of black Americans at the time, and this kind of representation on TV for the first time was groundbreaking. And the cast had a major contribution in maintaining and continuing this legacy because after the show, they all became icons. Each one of the leading characters left a lasting mark on black culture and history, and people who were kids in the 70s still look up to those characters. And these amazing actors haven't stopped their contributions, as most of them are still working on different projects. They also got a lot of work after Good Times, which wouldn't have been possible otherwise. It just goes to show how they changed the entire culture of black actors not getting as many leading roles. The cast broke away from the stereotypical black characters being portrayed at the time, and they played multi-dimensional and close to reality characters. Their complex roles actually opened the door for future shows to treat black characters the same way. So, do you think there should be a spin-off of Good Times, and who would you want to cast in it? Drop a comment and let us know. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care, and thanks for watching.